verify. We call them as accounting theory construction and accounting theory verification. And talking about the accounting theory construction, in your mind, it was expected to have this component to be discussed. Component that we are going to discuss under the accounting theory construction is how we are going to construct the accounting theory and how we are going to construct the belief. For example, you can construct your belief or assumption by relying on the pragmatic approach, and second one is theoretical. I think theoretical, right? Theoretical approach. Pragmatic and theoretical approach. Okay, theoretical approach. Okay, theoretical approach. For theoretical approach, you are going to have two non-theoretical also. Sorry, you are going to have non-theoretical also. Non-theoretical approach. And for a pragmatic approach, you are going to have let me check my notes first. I think I have put somewhere else. Oh no, not this one. Okay, actually for accounting theory, okay, I hope you don't mind if I'm using my sketch before this. And talking about the accounting theory and formulation, it must be always combined with the accounting theory construction and accounting theory verification. And under accounting theory construction, you must have a non-theoretical approach to be discussed and theoretical approach. And what is the non-theoretical approach? Under non-theoretical approach, it must have a pragmatic approach and authoritarian approach. And for the theoretical approach, you are going to have an inductive approach, deductive approach, ethical approach, sociological approach, and economical approach. Again, there are so many approaches that you need to understand, but it is not so difficult to have a good understanding on what is the accounting theory formulation sebenarnya. Adalah tidak menjadi kesukaran yang amat besar sebenarnya untuk you faham apa itu accounting theory formulation. Sebab accounting theory formulation ni, you kena faham macam ni, macam mana you kena construct. Untuk you formulate theory, you kena construct dulu. You kena construct first step and you kena verify apa yang you construct. Okay, you nak construct ni, you nak construct data tau. Okay, untuk you construct, you ada dua approach. Sama ada you guna non-theoretical ataupun theoretical approach. Under non-theoretical, you ada dua pilihan lagi. Sama ada you nak guna pragmatic ataupun authoritarian. Kalau you nak guna theoretical approach, you kena dapatkan data based on inductive, deductive, ethical approach, sociological approach, economical approach, and I think we just have one more, which is an elective approach. Elective approach. Okay, and this approach is just talking about how you are going to get a data in order to construct your belief. Okay, how you are going to get your data in order to construct your belief, because we are talking about how we are going to formulate your belief, actually your theory. Okay, jangan salah faham, teori dan belief adalah benda yang sama dan assumption pun adalah benda yang sama. Once you have done on the accounting theory construction, you need to verify. And under the accounting theory verification, you have three more option in order to verify the data that you have gained in order to test your data construction to become your theory. Either you are going to have a dogmatic approach, and self-evident approach and scientific approach. Benda ni tak sukar sebenarnya, tak sukar sebab you just baca sekilas lalu dan you just dapat sedikit gambaran yang tidaklah menyeluruh, tapi benda ni based on logical thinking. Based on my experience, talking about the accounting theory formulation is a very easy because sebabnya you kena faham kita sekarang ni kita nak bercakap, kita nak membincangkan macam mana teori itu dibentuk. Teori dibentuk melalui accounting theory construction ataupun dengan kata lain you construct your belief by certain approach. You ada dua pilihan yang besar kat sini bawah step 1. You are going to have a non-theoretical and you are going to have a theoretical. Okay, under non-theoretical, you are going to have a pragmatic approach and authoritarian approach. For theoretical approach, you are going to have inductive, deductive, and so many approach that relevant to the theoretical approach. After you have settled with the way you get the data in order to construct your theory, you need to test. In other words, you need to verify, you need to validate. Macam mana nak validate? You ada tiga pilihan kat sini, sama ada you nak dogmatic approach, nak terima bulat-bulat apa yang you dapat data tu, tak payah test, tak payah apa, itu dogmatic approach. And self-evident approach, you nak test based on your own perception, sebab kadang-kadang apa yang you test tu tak sama dengan apa yang orang lain test. Ataupun you nak buat scientific approach, you nak conduct some study in order to test the data that you have gained before. And talking about the scientific approach, it will lead to a more detailed discussion on what kind of the study that you can have in order to discuss this particular approach. Okay, contohnya kalau you dapat data, secondary data, you data ni dia ada dua bentuk tau, data secondary, data primary. Data primary. Primary data. Okay, primary data ni ada dua bentuk. Contohnya primary data ni you dapat data melalui interview. You dapat data yang kedua, primary juga, you buat survey. Data secondary ni ada dua bentuk, sama ada content analysis ataupun database. Database ni historical. Content analysis ni annual report. You ambil data daripada annual report, figure-figure daripada annual report, you extract satu-satu, dia kita akan panggil dia sebagai content analysis. But once you just aim to get some data for a certain database, means that you just going to use a historical approach from a specific database. And this comes sort of several channel of a data collection under the scientific approach. Yang ni kalau awak tak berapa nak faham sangat bahagian ni, tidaklah menjadi satu masalah lagi, sebab benda ni you akan sentuh untuk chapter-chapter yang ke depan. Chapter ni hanya untuk memberi gambaran atau memberi maklumat kepada awak semua macam mana accounting theory itu dibentuk. Seperti yang saya cakap tadi, accounting theory itu dibentuk ataupun diformulate by using a two major combination, which is accounting theory construction and accounting theory verification. You're talking about the accounting theory construction, you need to come in your mind how you are going to construct your belief. Macam mana you nak construct? You construct your belief based on two types. Okay, based on two types. One type based on non-theoretical and second type based on theoretical. Under non-theoretical, pragmatic approach. approach dengan authoritarian approach. Yang ni you boleh baca lah. Nanti you akan recall balik macam mana pragmatic dengan authoritarian ni. Benda ni tak sukar pun. You just dapat sedikit kefahaman je kat sini ni. Tak sukar. Tapi yang paling pentingnya dalam tajuk ni adalah berkenaan dengan cabang perbincangan. Pragmatic approach tu mesti datang daripada non-theoretical untuk accounting theory construction. Contohnya kalau you bincang pragmatic approach under accounting theory verification, salah lah. Dalam final exam ni you kena hati-hati. Kalau final exam tanya soalan, briefly discuss the basic component that you are going to use under the theory construction, accounting theory construction. So you need to focus on these two components. Do not focus on this component. Because they're just asking you about the accounting theory construction. So itu adalah sedikit gambaran apa yang kita akan dapat daripada chapter kedua ni. Okay, I think that's all. Sedikit mukadimahnya untuk chapter kedua ni. We just proceed with our presentation. InsyaAllah. Group presenter dah ready ke?
Yes, Doctor.
Okay. So, without further ado, I just pass this session to the group presenters to deliver their session.
Okay.
I stop sharing my screen.
Okay. Hi everyone, can hear me? Everyone can hear me?
Yes, very clear.
Yes. Okay. A very good evening to Doctor and my fellow friends. Let me introduce myself. I'm Vishalini Ganesan and my group members are Rishantini Jayabalan, Noor Adina Aldin binti Abdul Aziz, Humaira binti Ahmad Ifran, Noor Hasya binti Abdul Halim. As you can see on the screen, our topic today is formulation and verification of accounting and the accounting theory. So now I begin my explaining about this topic. In this chapter, we can learn the theory which explains how some aspects of human behavior or performance are organized. Concepts and principles serve two important functions and help us to understand or explain what is going on around us and to predict future events. In this chapter, we will discuss three important accounting theories as follows: positive accounting theory, normative accounting theory, and agency theory. Next, I will pass to Hasya to continue the video. Let's watch it.
Hi Damien. What are you doing?
Oh, hi Carla. I'm doing a little review for tonight's quiz.
Oh, I forgot there is a quiz tonight. Can you explain a little bit about the chapter for the quiz tonight?
Yes, of course I can explain to you. For this chapter, formulation and verification of accounting and the accounting theory, you must know the definition of theory. And there are three theories in this chapter, which is positive accounting theory, normative accounting theory, and agency theory. Also, you must know the differences between positive accounting theory and normative accounting theory. If you want to know more about this chapter, you can hear this explanation.
Definitions of theory. Oxford Dictionaries 2017 provides various definitions on theory, including a supposition or a system of ideas intended to explain something, especially one based on general principle independent of the thing to be explained. The accounting scholar Henriksen 1970 defines a theory as a coherent set of hypothetical, conceptual, and pragmatic principles forming the general framework of reference for a field of inquiry. The definition provided by Henderson is quite similar to the US Financial Accounting Standard Board's definition, which is a coherent system of interrelated objectives and fundamentals that can lead to consistent standards. The definitions imply that a theory is the summary and combination of what is known about a field and the reduction of our knowledge to basic ideas, presented in a way that shows their underlying shapes in relationships. A theory is a related set of concepts and principles about a phenomenon, and the purpose of which is to explain or predict the phenomenon. A theory is a good theory if it satisfies two requirements, which is precisely describes a large class of observations on the basis of a model and makes definite prediction about the results of future observations. Accounting is a human activity and it considers the things like people's behavior and or people's needs as regards financial information. Therefore, theories are regarded to include consideration of the recommend how assets should be valued for external reporting purpose, which is normative theory. Normative theory is historical cost or fair value. Next, forecast that managers pay bonus on the basis of measures such as profit before or after tax, and will seek to adopt accounting methods that lead to an increase in report net income. This term related to positive accounting theory. And the third one is predict the relationship between principal, which is shareholder, owner or employer, and agent, which is manager or employee. This term related to agency theory. Accounting theory may be defined as logical reasoning in the form of a set of broad principles that provide a general frame of reference by which accounting practice can be evaluated and guide the development of new practice and procedures.
Positive accounting theory is a theory that attempts to make a good predictions about managers' choice on accounting policies. In positive accounting theory divided into three, which is assumption, efficiency perspective, and opportunistic perspective and hypothesis. In assumption says that managers, shareholders, and regulators, politicians are rational. They attempt to maximize their utility, which is directly related to their composition and to their wealth. And market is efficiency. Efficiency explain about how various contracting mechanisms can be put in a place to minimize the agency theory. Opportunistic is manager will choose an accounting method from within the accepted set to enhance their welfare at the expenses of the party. In hypothesis divided into three, first is bonus plan. Second is debt covenant. Third is political cost.
Next, normative accounting theory. What is normative accounting theory? According to Igeri, Watts and Zimmerman, a normative accounting theory seeks to prescribe some basis of accounting measurement, particular accounting procedures, and the content of financial reports. Igeri views has a special case of deductive theory. Deductive theory that start with some good assumptions and reduce accounting procedure that form are labeled as normative theory. There are two important essentials of normative theory. First, good assumptions, and second, deductions. Normative accounting theory is an optimum model based on ideal world transaction costs and perfect informations. The theory is concerned with specifying the decision that should be made as a precondition to considering the information requirement and focus on decision model which should be used by decision makers seeking to make rational decisions. Normative accounting theory also seen as providing insight into information needs of decision makers as a basis for developing accounting theory. The decision usefulness theory is normative in nature because it makes the following assumptions. A. Accounting should be a measurement system. B. Profit and value can be measured exactly. C. see, financial accounting is useful for making economic decisions. Normative economic theory is subjective and aims to describe what the economic future should be for a company or investor. As a result, normative accounting practice is a form of value judgment that can introduce subjective morality into accounting. For example, if a company that increased dividend payment could use some of those funds to improve corporate sustainability measures, a normative accounting statement will indicate how much money should be invested in those measures to withstand corporate growth. As I mentioned before, normative theories of accounting are not necessarily based on observation and therefore cannot be evaluated on whether they reflect actual accounting practices. In fact, normative accounting theory may suggest radical changes to current accounting practices. For example, current cost accounting is one of the various alternatives to historical cost accounting that is considered to be most acceptable. Chambers, 1966, had been supporting the valuation of assets on a basis related to their net market or fair value, a treatment that challenged the widespread use of historical cost accounting. Although the fair value for asset valuation has gained popularity in Malaysia since the implementation of FRS 132 Financial Instrument Presentation and Disclosure on 1 January 2006. Current cost accounting differentiates between profit from trading and those gains that result from holding an asset. Gains that result from holding an asset can be further explained by looking at two components of current cost accounting, which are current operating profit and realizable cost savings. The current cost accounting will be discussed further in the chapter 10. Next, differences between positive accounting theory and normative accounting theory. The differences between positive accounting theory and normative accounting theory. For positive accounting theory, the theory explains and predicts real-world phenomena and is tested empirically. In 1950s, positive accounting theory was developed
Visha, slide tak bergerak.
reasoning, while for normative accounting theory, the theory prescribes the correct, supposed or best way to account for an accounting event, transaction or practice. Second, for positive accounting theory is the acceptance of rational economic person assumption, which assume that an accountant is primarily motivated by self-interest. The fact that the accountant is rewarded in terms of accounting-based bonus, while for normative accounting theory is not based on observation and therefore cannot be evaluated on whether they reflect actual accounting practices. This theory may rather suggest radical changes. Third, for positive accounting theory is attempts to justify some of the accounting practice that are deemed useful based in existing accounting practices, while for normative accounting theory attempts to justify some of the accounting practices that ought to be adopted. In example, new development like conceptual framework. Normative accounting also deals with future events rather than past data, which is domain of positive accounting practices.
Lastly is agency theory. Agency theory explains how best to organize relationships in which one party determines the work while another party does the work. Agency theory is derived from the positivist theory and is advocated by Watts and Zimmerman as the most dominant accounting capricious approach in explaining and predicting. In the modern corporation, the separation of ownership from control produces agency relationships between various groups. Jensen and McLean 1976 state that an agency relationship arises where there is a contract under which one party, the principal, engages another party, the agent, to perform some services. For example, decision-making authority on the principal's behalf and rewards the agent with returns. In this relationship, the principal hires an agent to do the work or to perform a task the principal is unable or unwilling to do. The relationship between the principal and the agent under the agency theory can be viewed as follows. First, shareholder and management. Second, debt holder and shareholder represented by management. Third, headquarters and branches. Fourth, parent and subsidiary companies. Lastly, higher management and support staff. Agency problem. Agency problem arise because the principal and the agent are utility maximizers, and there is no reason to believe that the agent will always act in the principal's best interest. This assumption of self-interest in agency theory will lead to inevitable inherent conflicts. If both parties are motivated by self-interest, agents are likely to pursue self-interest objectives that deviate and even conflict with the goals of the principal. The three agency problems are as follows. Risk aversion. There exist different attitudes towards risk-taking between shareholders and managers. Managers prefer less risk projects to protect their job security rather than maximize the value of the firm or shareholder wealth. Dividend retention. Problem occurs when managers prefer to pay out less of the company's earnings as dividends compared to shareholders' expectations. Managers resort to this action in order to retain money in the business, to pay for their own salaries and benefits, and to increase the size of the empire that they are controlling. Horizon problem. The horizon problem refers to the time horizon interest difference between shareholders and managers, which is linked to long-term bonus incentive. This is particularly a problem if managers expect to stay with the company for a short period of time and are concerned with the performance of the company while they are managing it. After they leave, they will have no interest in the company. Agency loss. To determine when an agent does and does not act in their principal's interest, the standard of agency loss is commonly used. Agency loss is the difference between the best possible outcomes for the principal and the consequences of the acts of the agent. For instance, when an agent acts consistently with the principal's interest, agency loss is zero. The more an agent acts diverge from the principal's interest, the more agency loss increases. When an agent acts entirely in her own self-interest against the interest of the principal, the agency loss becomes high. Agency cost. Basically, agency costs are the ringgit equivalent of the reduction in cash flow experienced by the principal, owing to the divergence of the principal's and agent's interests. In other words, the owners hire the managers to accomplish the controlling tasks of a firm, and as both seek to maximize their own utility and self-interest, a conflict of interest arises. As the managers have effective control of the firm, they have the incentive and ability to consume benefits at the expense of the owners. Jensen and McLean, 1976, defined the cost caused by the divergence of interest between owners and managers as agency costs, which consist of the monitoring expenditures by the principal. Monitoring costs are incurred when the principals attempt to monitor or restrict the action of agents. The bonding expenditures by the agent. An agent may commit to contractual obligations that limit or restrict the agent's activity, resulting in bonding costs incurred by the agent. The residual loss. Residual loss are the costs incurred from divergent principal and agent interests despite the use of monitoring and bonding, as action taken by an agent will sometimes differ from the behavior that would maximize the principal's wealth.
So, do you understand about this chapter?
Yes. Thank you, Damien, for the explanation.
So, in conclusion, we covered the theories which positive theory, normative theory, and agency theory. The accounting policy to be chosen in one of the methods to reduce contracting costs, we can determine by the firm's organizational structure, that is, in turn determined by the firm's environment. That's all from us today. Sorry if any inconvenient. Thank you. Anyone got any question can ask. Thank you.
Hello. Actually, for this particular presentations, it's a very good effort given by the group presenters and members. But I'm just realized, I think we are going to discuss about the accounting theory formulation, right? Is it right? Hello? Guys, dengar tak?
Yes, doctor.
Dengar, doktor.
So talking about the accounting theory formulation, I think we don't have to repeat the same thing that we already covered on the previous chapters, because I'm not sure, but what I'm realized, most of the point that have been shared tonight is was already given by the last group of presenters, I think. And what the most important part that you should know under this particular chapter is how you are going to formulate that theory. That's the most important part. Okay, that's the most important information. At least before we end up our class after this, all of students in this class have some idea what kind of the information that you should have in order to formulate the theory. I'm not saying whatever that has been discussed by the group presenters is totally wrong, but just a repetition for me actually. So let me repeat it again. So talking about the accounting theory formulation, it's always need to have accounting theory construction with the accounting theory verification, right? And talking about theory, the T itself, it always refers to the belief or assumption, right? T is always belief to the theory and assumption. Okay, so how you are going to have some belief? Macam mana you nak ada satu kepercayaan ataupun macam mana you nak develop teori itu? Untuk you develop teori, you kena ada apa? You kena ada apa?
Non-theory approach dengan theoretical approach.
Yes, you kena ada some basic information in order to get data. Either you are going to have a non-theoretical, theoretical approach, or theoretical approach. And under non-theoretical approach ni, ada dua lagi cara macam mana you nak dapatkan data melalui non-theoretical, iaitu sama ada melalui pragmatic approach ataupun authoritarian approach. Okay, authoritarian approach. Okay. Untuk approach kedua dalam teori construction adalah theoretical approach, di mana dalam bawah theoretical approach ni ada several method you boleh dapatkan data untuk you construct you punya teori. Sama ada data tu you nak dapatkan secara induktif, okay, inductive approach ataupun deductive approach ataupun sociological approach ataupun economical approach. Yang ni you salin macam mana you nak discuss benda ni nanti. Ataupun elective approach. Okay. Once you know and once you realize this approach going to enable you to construct your theory by having some sort of data, you need to move to the second step, which is verify ataupun validate that data. Macam mana you nak validate? You hanya boleh validate melalui 3 cara. Cara pertama adalah dogmatic approach. Ataupun self-evident approach. Ataupun scientific approach. Okay, scientific approach. Okay. So 3 approach ni adalah digunakan untuk mengesahkan data-data yang you dapat sama ada melalui non-theoretical ataupun theoretical. Data ni akan digunakan sebagai hujah untuk menguatkan lagi kepercayaan ataupun assumption yang you buat. Sebab sekarang ni kita bercakap pasal accounting theory formulation. Jadi secara asasnya apa yang saya harap awak semua faham, accounting theory formulation mesti dimulai perbincangannya dengan accounting theory construction and accounting theory verification. Lepas ni awak akan tertanya-tanya, apa benda tu pragmatic, apa benda tu authoritarian. Yang tu you boleh baca sikit je. Yang tu tak susah. Kalau awak nak, kalau awak semangat, awak boleh baca sikit. Okay, awak baca sikit. Benda ni kita dah sentuh sikit-sikit ni dalam last chapter. Cuma yang paling penting sekarang ni bukanlah maklumat apa itu konsep pragmatic authoritarian. Itu tidak penting. Yang penting sekarang ni adalah macam mana teori itu diformulate, dibentuk ataupun didevelop.
Sorry doctor for interruption. We all followed the FA3 book, so that's why I think we all follow from the book only, FA3 book. The formulation and verification of accounting and the accounting theory. So that's why.
Okay. But it's okay. That, like I'm saying just now, it's not your wrong. It's not your fault. Okay, it's not your fault. Okay. When you are referring to any other material, regardless any other textbooks, we couldn't say whatever that they have disclosed is totally right. No. Okay, we need to use our judgment also. We need to be smart. Okay, we need to be smart from them. Okay, and we need to think before we write. Okay, kat sini saya nak melatih awak untuk awak sedar apa yang awak akan tulis dan apa yang awak akan bincang. Sebenarnya yang menjadi susah sesuatu proses pembelajaran tu, sebenarnya subjek tu tak susah, tapi cara awak mencari bahan, cara awak belajar itu membuatkan awak keliru dan kawan-kawan awak keliru. Topiknya agak senang dan topiknya agak straightforward. Macam yang saya cakap tadi, kalau based on this diagram, you actually cover the whole chapter. Betul tak? You actually cover the whole chapter. You can easily talk how the accounting theory formulate by having accounting theory construction and accounting theory verification. And people, we are going to asking you more by conducting accounting theory construction. How? What we can do? What we need to do? So we have some choice. Either we are going to embark with the non-theoretical approach or theoretical approach. Under non-theoretical approach, ada pragmatic and authoritarian. Under theoretical approach, ada inductive. Kat sini ni you bacalah sikit. Apa induktif, apa deduktif. Yang ni tidak menghalang you untuk tidak membaca. Sebab awak akan baca, sebab awak dah faham awal. Yang ni awak dah faham ni. Yang ni awak dah faham. Awak dah ada semangat untuk faham macam mana teori itu dibentuk. Teori dibentuk melalui dua komponen besar ni. You construct and you verify. You construct means you construct by getting some data. Data apa yang you nak dapat ni? Data melalui non-theoretical ataupun theoretical. Faham tak? Saya harap penjelasan ni saya ni jelas untuk semua awak semua sebenarnya. Sebab saya cuba permudahkan dan saya tidak sesekali akan demerit whatever that have been done by this group of presenters. I'm really appreciate and I'm really recognize whatever works that have been done, and I'm really appreciate your effort. And with that, I would say it's a very big congratulation to your group mates to prepare this video to all of us. Okay? So don't be sad, Vishalini. Don't be sad. Okay? But what I'm trying to say just now is I just try to guide you the real information that you need to have at least. Okay? Okay. And don't worry too much about this. Okay?
Sorry, doctor.
It's okay. But for next presentation, if there's someone of you are not really clear with some topic, you can easily write down your idea and send it to me first.
Doctor, so we have to do again the presentation on.
No need. But your report must be my whiteboard. Okay?
Okay, doctor.
Okay. Your report must be the real one lah, yang the accurate one lah. You janganlah buat report yang salah.
Okay, doctor.
Okay. Jangan ambil hati Shalini ya.
Okay, doctor. Sorry, doctor.
Okay. Whatever you have done is a very great job, and I'm really appreciate your effort and your group mates' efforts. Okay? And thank you so much. Is there any question from all of you guys?
Doktor.
Yeah.
Yang semua ni start daripada macam mana kita nak apply je kan. Macam contohnya kita belajar ciri-ciri cara nak recognize revenue recognition apa semua tu. Lepas tu kita sampai ke apply je kan yang semua ni.
Ya, betul. Sebenarnya tajuk ni sangat senang sebenarnya. Tajuk ni sangat senang dan sangat penting. Sebab sekarang ni awak bercakap dan awak berada dalam kelas Financial Reporting Theory. So saya tak nak awak miss macam mana teori itu dibentuk. Sebab sekarang ni kita sebenarnya sedang membincangkan the whole syllabus in this course. Sebenarnya saya boleh rangkumkan semua sekali chapter-chapter yang depan tu dalam gambar rajah ni, tapi saya tak nak make it more confusion to all of you. Whatever that we need to have tonight is what is the accounting theory formulation itself. Formulation ni nama je formulation. Sebenarnya boleh je buat macam mana accounting theory dibentuk. Accounting theory development, accounting theory to be formulated, to be developed, to be realized, to be illustrated. It's just a name. It's just a name. Sekarang ni saya nak semua cuba faham, cuba berusaha untuk faham. Untuk sesuatu teori itu dibentuk, dia mestilah deconstruct dulu. You nak construct apa? You nak buat rumah, you kena ada apa? You kena bahan kan? Bahan tu lah data you. Sama ada data you tu, you nak ambil data yang sedia ada ataupun data yang orang dah beli. Yang tu pertimbangan you pula ni. Sama ada theoretical dan theoretical. Bila you dah ada bahan simen, kayu semua tu, you nak verify pula. You nak verify. You nak verify based on dogmatic approach. Dogmatic approach ni, apa yang you ada tu, you assume okay je. You assume whatever that have exist is okay to be practiced. Yang tu less effective approach. Maknanya you sudah mengalah dan sudah pasrah apa yang you ada. Contohnya. Tapi kalau self-effective, maknanya you test dulu, you tengok dulu daripada jauh untuk dan you buat pertimbangan sendiri. Rumah yang you dah develop ni cantik sebenarnya, tapi you kena ingat cantik di mata you sahaja. Sebab tu dia panggil self evidence testing, self evidence approach. Macam mana nak menjadikan data tu lebih publicly used ataupun generally used? You kena buat scientific approach. Contoh macam mana nak buat scientific approach, you kena panggil lah. You kena panggil architect, you kena panggil lawyer, you kena panggil some expert to quantify the material use. Lepas tu you pun bolehlah generalize. Whenever you able to generalize, you able to generate theory, you able to generate belief. Kan? Daripada situ you boleh cakap, rumah yang dibuat oleh kayu 100% lebih mahal daripada rumah yang dibuat daripada simen 100%. Faham tak? Hello?
Faham doktor?
Faham kan? Dia senang je sebenarnya. Cuma kadang-kadang you tersilap cari material kot tadi, I ingat. Tak apa. There is nothing wrong to or nothing to be regret, Vishalini and your group mate, okay? And whatever that you have done is a very, very good effort, and I'm really appreciate on that. And I'm really hope also all of you will have a good information from this particular chapter, because on the next chapters it's just a very basic chapters again. Second chapters is for me, second chapters is very important. That's why I talking much about that. Saya tak nak you terlepas ataupun tersasar. You misguided from the second chapter. First chapter okay lagi sebab first chapter tu just introduction je. Introduction, what is a normative, what is a positive, what is a deductive, macam tu. Yang tu macam introduction sahaja. Tapi sekarang ni kita nak cakap macam mana accounting theory itself was being formulated. Betul tak? Sebab semua lepas ni dalam kelas ni akan jadi manager tau. You kena ingat, you one day akan jadi manager, akan jadi boss dalam satu company you bekerja. So you kena tahu macam mana nak guna sesuatu teori. Contohnya, adakah teori yang you nak guna ni based on pemerhatian saintifik ataupun based on a hearsay from someone that you already know in that organization, ataupun based on the pronunciation from the local authorities. Kat situ you nak kena timbang. Kat situ akan timbul isu lain pula, isunya management discretion. Nanti kalau you dah belajar sampai masters level, dia akan ada satu chapter, dia akan panggil discretionary accounting judgment. Macam mana managers ataupun bos-bos company ni, dia discretion to every single decision that they have made to the transactions in the companies. Macam mana dia judge, macam mana dia decide how on every single transaction should be made. Sebelum dia decide, dia kena ada teori dulu, dia kena ada kepercayaan sama ada dia nak guna reducing balance method ke sepanjang masa, sama ada dia nak guna straight line method ke sepanjang masa, kan? Itu tujuannya subjek ni dibentuk. Okey. Cukup itu untuk itu malam ni
Okay, Doktor.
Okey.
Doktor.
Ya.
Doktor. Untuk buat group assignment tu, group report kan, kita apa yang kena ada dalam komponen group report tu?
Just there is no specific guideline that you need to have for group report sebenarnya. The basic one, you need to have intro, you need to have discussion, and you need to have conclusion at least, and you need to have your reference. If you're referring to some sort of material ataupun you refer dekat mana-mana artikel, you kena cite betul-betul. You kena tulis rujukannya betul-betul. Saya bagi kesempatan kat sini sebab saya nak tengok cara you faham. Saya tak nak you ikut apa yang ada dalam kepala saya. Saya nak bagi kebebasan kat you. You tulis je apa yang you faham pasal tajuk tu. Apa yang patut ada. Dan you kena anggap nota you ni akan digunakan oleh pelajar-pelajar ataupun junior-junior adik-adik you nanti, dan you akan memudahkan diorang. You kena ingat guys, apa yang you buat sekarang ni, you nak tolong orang dan you nak mudahkan orang. Okay? The moment you make it easy for people, Allah will make it easy for you, insyaAllah. Guaranteed. Okay? I think that's all for tonight class. Don't go too much and don't go too confused about this. But at least you have some this idea. I'm very sure you are going to have fun reading and fun searching material after this, insyaAllah. And don't forget to sign up your attendance.
Doktor, I think maybe they need to refer the syllabus to make the make the presentation.
Yeah. Betul. Okay, Alhamdulillah. Thank you so much, class. See you again on next week, okay?
Doktor, thank you, Doktor.
Okay. Take care. Good night. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you, Doktor.
Thank you, Doctor. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you, Doktor.
Doktor.
Ya.
Attendant ni nak sign kat mana?
Attendant yang pakai yang lepas tu. Yang lepas tu saya bagi tak?
Saya rasa macam tak ada lagi.
Tak ada.
Saya tak ada lagi.
Oh, tak ada lagi bagi attendant saya? Ya.
Tak ada lagi.
Lupa saya. Okay. Nanti saya bagi attendance dekat grup ni
Okay, Doktor.
Esok bagi boleh tak? Esok bagilah saya bagi.
Boleh, Doktor.
Okay. Sorry. Assalamualaikum.
Okay, Assalamualaikum, Doktor.